This takes a little time to connect with all the different channels, so I'm just going to blab for a little while. So, welcome. Although I have done a Martifacts by itself, just solo by myself, a couple of times to just try this whole going live experience here on YouTube, on Substack, and in LinkedIn. This is the first time that I'm actually doing Martifacts and other things that matter because I have other people here that are bringing their things that matter to this show and tell. So, a bit about the idea of where I got the name Martifacts for. Actually, it was given to me by my wife. A couple of years ago, I was on a 2 month road trip all up and down the coast of Florida. And in the evenings, I would connect, I'd call, we'd check in and everything. And I'd say, oh, and by like the fourth time I said that, she's like, what did you leave at the last thing, last place I was? And so she was the one who said, what Martifacts did you leave? Like most of the time it was just toothbrushes and things like that. But, it was leaving things behind. And people love that concept of Martifacts. And so I was just like, I'm keeping it. I like the name and I'm keeping it for my Substack channel or Substack, whatever it is. I'm learning about that too. I'm learning about everything.
Yep.
Learning about everything. So, anyway, I am going to, as I've done, this is kind of wonderful for me, very wonderful for me, because I started my events called Show and Tales um, almost 15 years ago in Prospect Heights, Brooklyn, in the back room of a good friend's bar called Branded Saloon, which amazingly is still there. So it was a music venue. And so, needless to say, music generally, I don't know why, but it generally ends up not starting until about 9 o'clock at night. And so I said, can I come in early, bring people, and invite them to share their stories and all of that? And my friend said, yes. So I then started hosting them monthly for a while. I went into New York City, the Lower East Side, Upper East Side, a bunch of different places, and then took it on the road and did these in person events where I invited people to show and tell. And I did that through COVID, but because of as I'd mentioned a little bit about Felice also is in a caregiving position, and a lot of us are in a way, it's kind of taken a back seat for me, a back burner for me in hosting the events. I've hosted over 400 of them. And so it's been a little sad to not continue to do it the last couple of years because of my caregiving duties and everything. But I get to come live with you and do a little bit of the feel of show and tell. So this is like show and tell from elementary school for those in this country. I know other people in other countries don't necessarily have this elementary school activity, but I know most people in North America have had that experience, and I think most of my guests have. So anyway, without further ado, even though I can't figure out how to give you the full stage, I'm not on Riverside yet. thank you for Thank you for flowing with me, all of you.
Sure.
I am going to turn the stage over to Cheryl and see what she brought to show and tell today.
Well, thank you, Marty, and thank you for having me, and hi to everybody that's on as well. I brought a ring, and it has a bunch of different stones in it. And you know how you collect jewelry throughout your lifetime, for any of us that have reached this magical age? We have jewelry from weddings and marriages and babies and birthdays and anniversaries and boyfriends from a long time ago. And they're all sitting in the jewel box, and you can only wear so much at a time. So I got this idea on my 65th birthday that I would get it all made into one ring. So I took all of the stones out of everything and made a 65th birthday ring. And now I look back at, when I wear it and I look down and I see the different stones, I remember the event, or good and bad and ugly. And I remember
Life,
now, as I look
life.
back, I remember the good, the bad, and the ugly. And, I call it my circle of life ring. And because this is my life, it still has a little bit on the back that doesn't have any stones yet. Although
Oh,
I keep telling my husband, but we'll see how that goes.
hint,
Right,
hint, hint, hint.
Don't hear
right.
down there. But, I think if we're lucky enough to reach the ages that we are, then we should celebrate all of the milestones, and actually every day that contributed to us getting here. And I wanted to put it in a ring, which reminds me that I am who I am because of all of the things that have happened to me. And I'm grateful for that, and I appreciate that. And now I wear my Circle of Life ring, and when people ask, I'm always, always love to tell them, because we all have those things that are sitting that we don't get an opportunity to put on and exhibit and say, yeah, that was me. And sometimes people have looked at a stone and said, oh wow, and I remember, and then I'll tell the story. Because the great thing about us now is storytelling, isn't it? So
Absolutely.
that's my show and tell.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the creativity in it. I love that there's space left because your life is not, we're not done yet. We are not, definitely not done. And so you've got the space in it, and I love the that you put all the pieces, all the parts of it, because it's not just the good things, and
It's not. And I hope to pass it on, to one of my granddaughters. And she'll tell, I'll tell her the stories, and then maybe she'll tell the stories. So
awesome.
I won't pass it on to any of my kids. They remember the stories. I'll have to embellish the stories. Some poetic license with the grandkids, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that idea, Cheryl, because that's always my follow-up question is, and anybody who's been on my show so far knows, is what do you want to have happen with this thing? It's about legacy when you're dead and gone. And obviously, it's not the thing that matters, it's the stories. So I'm glad you're passing them on.
And
Thank
you've
you.
decluttered a lot of other jewelry into one.
I have. So and all the stones were real. So if some of them weren't, I'd be going back to those spouts. And
Yeah,
say,
they're
hey,
exes.
Oh, that's great. And of course, Felice is like speaking from a professional organizer's view. So she's an author and a professional organizer. So you get a chance to, and that you get a chance to curate it and select what the things that matter. And I'm sure it did end up, you got to declutter things, but you chose the things you wanted to keep first. Yeah.
and it was interesting when we were making it. When I initially thought of it, I just thought, oh, these things are hanging around. I need to put them in one place. I really wasn't cognizant of or consciously thinking of the stories. And it wasn't until after it was made and I put it on that it kind of hit me that I had collected all of the stories of my life and put it into a ring. And that wasn't my intent. My intent more was decluttering and, oh, I should be wearing this stuff. But now those are the stories. So it's really kind of cool. It kind of hit me after the fact,
Yeah.
which most things kind of hit you after the fact.
Do. I don't know about you, but you three, but I've always had a really good time, an easy time figuring out what I didn't want to do.
Yes.
but my path to what I'm doing now was absolutely not a straight line, and I would never in a million years think that this is what I'd be doing with my life. So it's like the same, like you didn't know where you were going, you didn't know what it was about, but something did. Something actually did
Yeah.
know. And
Yes.
and even though you said consciously you hadn't done it, there was something else going on that collected these specific stones that told important stories.
Yes. Absolutely.
So great. Thank you, Cheryl, for starting us off in the first edition of Other Things That Matter. So, Teresa, you are next. What did you bring to show and
Thank
tell?
you, Marty. I want to say, Cheryl, thank you so much. I want one of those rings now.
No,
What
right?
a beautiful idea. It's with you all the time. And like you said, when people look at it, you can share the stories with them. So I'm
Yes.
gonna like go look at my jewelry now and see what I could pull together.
And that's
Thank you
that's
for
the
that.
point of this. That's the point of this going live. This getting out in the world. This message is you know how can we keep the things without keeping all the things?
Yeah, love
Does it-
that.
Yeah, it's perfect. That I've never heard of that before, Cheryl. You'll have to be on my an episode of Things That Matter so you can tell specific stories of those. The good. I want a
yeah.
good, bad, and ugly story.
That'd be
Remember-
great.
Pick one.
Remember, bad decisions make good stories.
I wear that t-shirt often, Marty.
We saw in Felice, in Santa Fe, there was a store right as part of the hotel we were having this conference called La Fonda, one of the historic hotels. And they had this T-shirt that was kind of a bit of cowboy theme. And it said, bad decisions make good stories. So, all right, Teresa.
Okay, first I want to say it was hard to pick some things. Not that I have a ton of things that I've saved over time. I got rid of a lot of things when I moved cross country, sadly. But so I did choose this. This is a really cute.
Yeah.
This sits in my bathroom, and this is from my mom. So this was one of my mom's things that she had in her house, and she loved birds, and I love hearing birds and watching birds. So we're kind of continuing with that. But I love her pieces because she collected a lot of, she called them tchotchkes. You heard that word, tchotchkes? Had a ton of them. And it was my privilege to have to sort through all those, when she was done, when she had moved on. And I didn't want to get rid of a lot of them because they were randomly chosen throughout her life, but she had a beautiful way of putting them together in her house. Like she just had an eye for organizing and colors, and it was just like interior design type of a perspective. And I always admired that about her. I mean, she could just grab things from the thrift store and then find a beautiful spot for them in her house, and you couldn't tell where they came from. So this is just a remembrance of my mom. It's simple. It's kind of primitive. Is that the style possibly? And I really, really love looking at it. It just reminds me of her and her knack for bringing random things together and making it look really nice in her house. So, so that's my story.
I love it. I love it. Does the clock still work?
Oh, heck yeah. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
I update it every time we shift, for
Yeah.
the different time things
Time
during the
zones.
year. But yep,
Very neat.
totally
very neat.
working.
I couldn't
Totally working.
tell because actually one of the inspirations for me starting my podcast 4 years ago, I can't believe it's been 4 years, was I was camping with my camper van in Jersey City, and people have been saying you should, that we get lots of. I'm sure you've all experienced this.
Yeah.
You should. There's lots of shooting on people, and then we should on ourselves. But
It happens.
Make sure that's nice and
Should
clear.
happens eventually. But
Well, that's
I've
for
been
both. Yeah, it'll work for
right.
both.
All it and I'd been hearing it for a while. You know, start a podcast, start a podcast. I went to a little diner for breakfast, and I was needed to get on the next train into the city. And I asked the waiter, I said, "Excuse me, can you tell me what time it is?" And he looked at it and he's like, "Oh," he goes, "this doesn't work." He goes, this was my grandfather's.
Wow.
And I just wear it to remember, you know, so it's just like, so when you said, I was like, does it still, you know, because even if it doesn't,
Yeah.
I'm sure you would still use it, but it's perfect.
Right.
It does both.
Right.
It has a story and a purpose, because in the bathroom,
Right.
you're looking at what time
Yeah.
is it? So thank you so much, Teresa. I love it. And with your talking about your mom, keeping pieces of and selecting them. You had to go through, like so many of us,
Yeah.
like Cheryl, you're saying, going through family stuff and having to be thoughtful about what you're going to keep, especially when you're doing a move. So
Yes. Yes.
thank you.
Thank
right.
you.
And Felice, what did you bring to show and tell?
Sure. Well, before I forget, one, Cheryl, I love the ring idea. It's beautiful. And Teresa, those look like cardinals. Those look like red cardinals, whether they are or not.
They do, and I love cardinals. I miss seeing cardinals back in Ohio from where I'm at
Do you know what they
originally.
represent? So sometimes they
No.
represent someone who has passed.
That's true.
So I
Oh,
love because
really?
my friend, she loves seeing cardinals. She feels like every time she sees one, it's her mother visiting her.
Oh.
So I love that that was your mom's, and
Oh,
that's
wow.
very sweet.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Because I am, both of you, these are very memorable, and, your life and telling stories. And for me, it's about letters. So I have, as a minimalist, I don't save much, but I have over 1,000 letters. And last year, 2025, my resolution was to handwrite one letter a day, which I did. And I started a Substack writing about it, and sometimes a podcast, depending on what it is. But it's about how much I love handwritten letters. And so my next book is including, I've been curating these letters to include a few hundred of them in telling the story of a life, because we remember what we remember. And it's different from when you write in a journal, because you write from your perspective. But when you have letters from your parents when you were 8, when you were 14, from your friends, from your exes, which I have a ton of, teachers. So I have from
She's been around.
years. So this is mostly the bulk are the late 80s, but the early 90s. But since I love letters, I have so many letters from people, even if we were living in the same town. So I have been able to see these letters. And during COVID, when I came home to stay with my parents on the Cape, I started reading through the letters. And of course, as an organizer, they were divided by person or college or whatever. And I started to see a connection, a thread between the letters, where it wasn't just one person talking about this. There could be multiple letters talking about what's your new major, or who are you dating, or you're still with him, or you're now dating her, or whatever it was. So I started to put them together. So I have now been connecting them through my own words and using the letters to help push the story ahead. And it's really been fun. And what's been amazing are the people who read the Substack and the people who send me stamps or send me stationery, because I still write letters. It's my favorite thing. And I just had a birthday the other day, and I said, all I want are letters. And I got tons. So it was great. Because for me, that's what, means so much.
Yeah.
So,
Love it.
and the book will be a legacy of these letters and a story of a life, because, for all of us, it takes a village, right? They have memories from our past that we might, and perspective that we don't have.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I love the idea. I was grateful to have you on as a full episode of Things That Matter with Marty McNabb. And to go a little bit more in depth with it, but I love your perspective on, how it gives you an idea of how others really see you, how they experience you. And, it's needless to say, when we are in relationships with people and there's challenges, it's when we end up realizing, ooh, not everybody thinks like, I mean, it's not that I didn't know that, but I didn't really know it until you're in this kind of space, and just getting other people's perspective is so enriching. It's just such a good way, to say, oh well, this is how I think I've been in the world and how I show up. Is that what is getting reflected back? It's a wonderful, like, conversation with the past, with other people. It really is another type of love letter,
Right.
so
Yes, it
yeah.
reminded me of something. I just had, Diana would be so proud. It was an aha moment where my mom had passed. She was a great card writer, always sent me cards. And she had passed, and I was going through her things, and she always bought cards in advance. So I came across a bundle of cards that she was going to send. She had passed from cancer. And I found the bundle of cards for my birthday and Christmas and all of and I kept them, but just now and I read them all, and it was like she was there. And it
Yep.
just dawned on me that, and it was one of the few things I kept. But how interesting, and I'm going to go back and open that bundle again.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I read I have 50 letters from my grandmother. When I read them, you hear her voice. For
Yes.
anybody, you pick up and you remember, and it is special. More than a photo. It really is. So.
Yeah,
Can I just insert real quick? When,
absolutely.
after my mom passed and I had to, dispose of everything, inside a desk between a bunch of stuff was some letters, like in a really small couple of letters. And we opened them up. It was like a treasure chest. And here it was letters from a pen pal my mom had from Egypt when she was in college. And so we got to get a little teeny snippet of their correspondence. I'm like, oh, wow, this is interesting. We never knew about this.
That,
That's
right?
great.
So that was fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like
absolutely.
Wow.
it's like like they're time machines.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
they really are time machines, and yeah, it's I in my previous business called Memories Out of the Box, one client had come across an old scrapbook from her father-in-law. It was, one of those leather, well, kind of fake leather, and with the tied together with a ribbon, and this had photographs on it, and had black paper, and they had to put the photo corners in because they didn't
Yeah.
have, but some photos had fallen out, the pages were falling out, and we did end up getting it restored, eventually professionally restored, but we ended up taking it and photographing each page, digitizing it, and then producing a digital book from it. But that was the biggest thing that they ended. And at first they were like, "Oh, we're just gonna produce it like that." I'm like, I think you really need to tell a little bit of a story first, because this is going to get passed down to your kids. So it would be really important for you, in your words, to write, what it was like coming across this. And they just said they never the she and her husband never met that man.
Wow.
It was a totally, like you were saying, like these things that you don't, it was like he seemed so happy and happy go lucky, but of course he ended up, I think eventually his father died, and he ended up taking, over caring for the mom and other younger siblings, and then getting his own family, and it just the pressure of it made him grumpy. So that's the person they knew, and so they were like looking at these things and the young person, and all of that. So that's what's so great, going, coming across these things, and thinking about them, and thinking about, them holding, having them in their house, where they place them, seeing, getting that sense of them through their words, or, that what gift they gave you, and if it was a real stone or not.
They're probably thinking, oh, thank God. Thank God I didn't do it for the sake. We know
So-
who you are.
You know who you are. So anyway, I want to thank you so much, and I do want to say I did mention, Felice spoke about it, because it's the things, as a minimalist, she is able to keep lots of, or a fair amount of them, but it's I wanted to say that it's Felice has this love letter to letters on the Substack. And Felice Cohen, you can find her, and other books that she has written, lots of different things, author, caregiver now, and soon to be another author of this book as well. And Cheryl, as I mentioned, has a podcast, a brand new podcast called Boomer Banter.
Boomers revolt.
Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. There's another one that's Boomer Band. Anyway, sorry, old brain. Boomers Revolt. And I'm grateful to have been a guest on that. And then Teresa has Evolving Women, which is a YouTube channel. And I was a guest on her channel as well. And I'm hopeful to have both Cheryl and Teresa on mine as a full episode of Things That Matter with Marty McNabb, as a regularly, as opposed to the lives. And thank you so much for sharing the stories of these things that matter. It's, it's not that things matter, as Cheryl, you all have mentioned. It's the stories that get attached to them, and the connections to our past and to ourselves. I believe our homes are our personal museums, and that these are the things that we keep, the things that matter, and the things that we will leave behind. And I am so grateful for all of you for experimenting with this first live with multiple people. So thank you so much. Are there any last things that you would like to say before we sign off?
This was great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. It's been fun.
Marty.
Awesome. Thank you. And I will let you know where it goes in the universe after this. It's all a big question. So you take good care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks so much for your time.
Marty.
Really
Bye-bye.
appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye.